I'll screen share you. Okay, can you give a quick intro for the chat? Just
Yeah,
like where you're from, how long you've been playing, what your tag is, stuff like that.
yeah. I'm from Alberta, which is like same region as you say. I started playing in 2015. My tag is Poppinfresh. It's sort of like improved steadily for a few years. I think 2019 or like early 2020, I kind of stagnated a bit,
Okay.
and then I ended up getting a lesson from IBDW late 2020,
Mm-hmm.
and I think I was finally starting to feel like I was improving and I was practicing a lot more. And then I started having hand problems.
I
So
see.
I ended up switching yeah, to the frame one.
Okay, so you're a frame one player then.
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
So I pretty much most of this year just like relearning tech skill and stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
now I kind of finally feel like I'm getting back to where I was before.
Okay. All right,
So
nice. Well, it's good to know the information that you're on a box controller. And
yeah.
okay, so what are you trying to fix with this lesson, or like where do you think you're at, or like what's going on?
Um yeah, so like I I registered for Genesis and it'll be like my first super major.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
I kind of just like want to get as good as I can in the next 2 months before that.
Okay. All
And
right.
yeah,
Let's take a look at one of these VODs and see what we can come up with. Then.
sure.
The screen share is working?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's good. Okay. That was fine. That was a good combo. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. Ah, that happened. He just read you. Okay. Hmm. Uh-huh. Okay, I'm definitely seeing some stuff. I'm gonna watch a little bit longer though. Okay, good back air. Hmm. Yeah, okay, so let me finish this game and then I have a couple things to talk about.
Sure.
So, yeah, people in chat mentioned a little bit of it. But okay, so I think you have a pretty good sense for like what he's going to do, and you have a pretty good sense for like what your goals are, which is good. Where you're like, okay, I definitely want to hit a shine so I can hit this combo into, trying to get a stock out of it, rather than just sort of going for like random neutral wins. It seems like you're like, okay, he's at 130, so I'll definitely make sure to hit him with a strong back air because that's pretty much all that's going to kill there and stuff like that. So that's really good. It seems like there's quite a bit of a lack of lasers. Um, there's a few things that are missing. Lasers are kind of missing. You're not really using lasers very much. You're not really dash dancing a lot. To and you're not really you're not really like moving around a lot. Like you're not really like changing your positions. Um, so like you'll be in a position and it's kind of like you like I am holding this extremely small space around Falco. This is my space, and you know
Mm.
that Fox can kind of move around however he wants until he gets into your space. And then when he gets into your space, then that is like that's when you interact. And I think part of that is the lasers, like because if you're not using lasers, you end up in kind of a spot where like any button you press almost feels like an overcommitment that Fox can like take advantage of. So you
Yeah.
kind of end up feeling like, okay, well, I'm just gonna kind of like stay here, and I'm not gonna overcommit, and I'm gonna watch Fox's movement, and I'm gonna like look for an opportunity to get like a shine or something. But Falco can play a lot more actively than that using the lasers, and so the goal should be a lot more to kind of like you can use the lasers to kind of like hold a position for a little bit and look for like a potential bait on what Fox is doing, or you can use you can like use the lasers and hold him for a bit and then change your positioning and then use the lasers again and see if you can really get anything out of it. So there's like with Falco a lot of times you can kind of tell what your gameplay is missing by the situations that actually come up in the game. And so in this game, there were notably not a lot of situations where you were doing like late aerial pressure on shield or
Mm.
like hitting a late aerial, like you like do it like a dash dance mix up and then you catch him with like a late dare and you just sort of finish him off from like that spot. So I didn't really see like the sort of setup thing where it's kind of like laser and then you dash dance and you sort of try to bait into like an aerial. Like I didn't see stuff where like you laser him and then you dash dance to bait his up tilt and then you like down air him or whatever. So that so far is kind of what I'm getting. What are your thoughts on that?
Um, I think that makes sense, but I also think I probably do some of that stuff a lot more against like players that are around my skill or worse. I feel like when I play against Sensei, I feel like he's always just
When you
I'm
play
like
against
I'm always on
when
the
you play against good players, what?
yeah, I always feel like I'm kind of always on the back foot and having to do these
Mm-hmm.
sort of
Okay, so part of that might be like you might not be very strong out of the laser situation. Like if they like take laser and they dash in, or they power shield wave dash in, you might have some weaknesses in that spot, which makes it feel like you're like not really like allowed to shoot lasers or something like that. But there are
mm,
definitely points in this game, like if we restart the game here, there's definitely points in the game where okay, so let's go over it with like this perspective. So you kind of get
or,
this first stock really fast. Come back, you reach your invincibility. I remember this. Okay. So, yeah, you're kind of like in a scrappy situation here. Nothing has really happened. And he kind of came to you in that spot. But, like, right here, your first thought should definitely be to, like, establish laser control. There's nothing from this position that allows Fox to like hit you if you decide to laser
Yeah.
from right before this wave dash. And like basically one of Falco's primary goals in Melee in general is like to get laser control. Because if you think about it, like without lasers, Falco is kind of weak. Like he's all right. You know, he
Yeah.
might be like the bottom of top tier, like the higher part of high tier or something like that. But he's not all that great. So even and I guess like the fact that you have kind of like a hard read on him dashing in here makes this like kind of okay, I guess. But just keep in mind that like in general, like when you're in a spot like this, if you choose to play this interaction like from this spacing and everything without lasers and you choose to kind of just go in and read him and then like get like a shine like this or something, this is very unreliable and like overall does not make use of Falco to the same level as lasering there. So like you might be able to outplay someone and win using just this and playing the situation laserless, but it will always be less. It'll always have like less expected value than playing it with your
Yeah.
character's strengths. So definitely like from a range like this, I would suggest like lasering. Falco's setups are really strong. Like he can laser at a certain spacing where kind of like if you shield it, he has like a dash dance mix up. If you take laser, you're kind of in danger, or he can laser again. And sort of getting really good at like that kind of like laser in place dash dance game is really important. Just because winning a spot like that with just shine is like you're not gonna win the majority of interactions like that
Yeah.
against the majority of foxes. Okay, and yeah, obviously down airing like this when you're in like a scrap is totally fine. Like you're already so close in that there's no reason really not to fight. Um, this is like a spot where like yeah, like the down air worked the exact previous time, so I do understand, but you got to be careful and make sure to like sometimes at least do like because like this is just like there's nothing super wrong with it, but it is a little disrespectful because you just hit the same exact down air a second ago, you know? So like on one hand you're like maybe he'll just fall for it every time, but on the other hand like if you just hit your opponent with this, it would usually be better if you like you're respecting your opponent and your opponent is good to be like, well, I early aerial last time, maybe I'll late aerial this time, or maybe I'll laser or something like that. The dare's not
You,
awful. It's just something to keep in mind.
do you think it was just too ambitious to try to whiff punish there? Like,
Hmm. Um.
so I think I
I guess not
that's probably what I
necessarily.
tried to
Like
do.
if you felt like you were gonna hunt would like actually get like a true whiff punish there, then it makes more sense. So I understand. I was just
Yeah.
sort of mentioning something to think
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
But if you think you're really gonna hit that whiff punish, then yeah, go for it. It's fine.
Because I feel like a lot of times I try to whiff punish things and just am late. So I'm just not sure if it's even worth going for if I'm not like
Yeah, I
super, super
mean,
sure.
most of the time I won't like if I'm really confident at the spacing that happens and I see like a true whiff punish that I really think I can hit, I'll go for it. But most of the time, like if Fox is just like whiffing aerials or whatever, most of the time you're not going to be able to get there in time.
Yeah,
Like maybe if it's like a full hop and it's like really obvious and you're spaced around it, then like yeah, fine. But like most of the time, what I try to do is I try to set up a neutral situation in which I am kind of like at an advantage, you know, like well, I
yeah,
might not be able to whiff punish, but I can get a laser out and I can kind of set myself up so that like I have like, you know, a higher chance of victory than my opponent does.
yeah. I feel like sometimes I kind of it's like a spot where I just hope that it whiff punishes because I'm not.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
like a little dubious.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like the whiff punish should definitely be like kind of like a special case, meaning they sort of misspaced and stuff like that. And like the majority of the time, I think you should focus more on like hitting your setups, like
Yeah,
late aerial or laser and stuff like that, which give you like a big pressure. Because I don't really see you using those at all. So I think if you sort of used those more and kind of laid off trying to whiff punish and then like worked the whiff punish back in, that might help you out more too.
yeah.
And then this is like not a bad dash dance, I guess, because you're thinking he won't really expect you going into the corner here, but you also like this dash dance does not have many good things that could happen. Like it's not like you did like a tiny dash down air or something. Like if you dashed like this and you instant down aired and you got hit with this, I can kind of see it. But you're kind of just dash dancing here. The only thing this beats is him somehow like whiffing a move right in front of you, and then you also having the ability to like I don't know like grab and back throw here or something. But like the majority of the time, you're not really gonna get a ton of value out of just dash dancing here as Falco. Um, like if you're kind of going for this same idea, it might be better to like wave dash and then up tilt here or something, or you can like go through him and get out of the corner when you see him kind of go up here. It's just this sort of dash dancing is like not super good against Fox. It's not that bad against like Marth or something because he has trouble like with those ranges, but Fox will just kind of dive in with his moves right on top of you.
Yeah.
And then so you have a bit of an issue. I noticed this a few times where like you'll land this laser and you're immediately like, man. I mean, so I don't know exactly what you're thinking here, but it looks like you're thinking that you want like a laser into shine. Um,
Yeah.
because but the thing is, first of all, laser into shine is not even that useful right now because he's at like a pretty high percent that it doesn't really matter. And then like second of all, this is like the greediest possible option is for Falco to like laser and then run in and shine. Um, and sometimes you do want to do it, but for the majority of the time, this laser should be like an intro to like a setup. Like you should either laser and then dash dance and try to bait him, or like laser and then do like a short hop up so it looks like you're gonna aerial and then late aerial, or laser and then laser again at a different spacing that you really like. But kind of yeah, you went for the shine there, and it's just kind of like it's really really greedy to go for this, and obviously it's still pretty good to go for it a lot of times, but more so when it gives you like a huge reward. Like if he was at 0, I can see
Yeah.
that a lot more than like at 120. And you're kind of going for it again, like the sort of like running shine stuff right here. And it's kind of important to remember that like these aren't real outplays. Like you need if you want to be good, it needs to be like a real outplay where like say you laser him and you dash dance and he up tilts and then you punish him,
Yeah.
or you laser him and then you jump and he shields and you get a late nair on his shield and shield pressure him, and then you eventually get like or you get like a shield pressure and like a shine grab. Those are like aha, like these are real outplays. But just sort of picking a moment and then running in and shining, especially trying to get like a run and shine on drill, is just like really 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 greedy.
Yeah. It's kind of like a Hail Mary.
Yeah, it's kind of like it would be nice if this hit so I didn't have to outplay you, you know?
Yeah.
Um One sec. Okay. Okay, that kind of just happens. Fox is fast. Let's see. So you come back. Okay, yeah, the back air was fine. He thought you were gonna laser. The backflip was good. Um, right here, like the thing is like yeah, he's invincible, and you're trying to trick him or whatever. But it is kind of interesting that there's like no dash dancing here at all. You know, like you're
Yeah.
not really like moving. You're not like like you need to be like moving around and lasering, like jumping around and lasering, and then dash dancing, and like that repositioning and baiting constantly is kind of like how you'll get your opponent to like whiff, or like how you're really gonna like outplay them. Because the majority so far of this set or this match has been pretty much like you just kind of sit there and then you're looking for like a running shine or something like that, and it's like it's not completely misguided to play like that, because that is like how you're gonna win. You're gonna win because your shine hits, but you don't want to be so obvious with the fact that like that you want your shine hit to hit that you don't really like go for anything. So I think this is really good where you go for this late aerial here and he just kind of gets out of the way. But overall, that was like a better setup that you'll win more of the time. Once it, okay, got a little dash dance there. That was good. But most of the time, like right here, it's kind of like you're not really looking to set up like a good position. You're just kind of like, well, maybe my jump shine will hit. And the going for the jump shot, like I said, is not bad. It's the fact that it seems to be like kind of like a crutch, where you're like, I don't really like. I feel pressured. I don't really want to like shoot a laser because I'm kind of scared of my opponent. So like instead of lasering, I'll just go for my run and shine, and if I'm correct, then I'll get a kill or whatever. And it kind of creates things. It kind of creates a situation where you're like gambling quite a bit.
Yeah.
And sometimes it'll work out because you'll hit your shines. It'll feel really nice, and then other times it'll just be confusing, and you'll be like, "Wow, what happened?" Like,
Yeah.
so that's something to watch out for. What were you gonna say?
I think a lot of times it's like when I'm in a disadvantageous position, like on wake up or something, and he's like nearby, I'm kind of like panicking, and then I just try to like do these crazy options that have a high reward but are like pretty low percentage.
Right, there are definitely options you can do in spots like that, like fade back dare, and roll, and full
Yeah.
hop and stuff like that. Then in like a lot of cases will like keep you safe from a lot more options. So there's always like a choice of like, do I go for like I'm in a bad spot? Do I go for like a reversal? Like, do I try to
Yeah.
turn this into my advantage, or do I try to turn this into like an even situation? And I think that there's nothing wrong with going for like kind of like reversals quite a bit, but you need to be able to like it needs to be a choice.
Yeah.
It needs to be a choice rather than I feel trapped, so I'm going to go for this.
Yeah.
Okay, what happens here? What? How do you lose this? Okay, laser. So the laser approaching laser, it seems like it's just kind of based. It's not really based on anything. So remember, you're going for the outplay. Like lasers, the whole point of lasers, the entire reason why lasers are good, is because they give you opportunities to outplay your opponent without risking yourself. So they give you an opportunity to stop what your opponent is doing, to pin them in place, to prevent them from attacking you, to catch their dash back. You have all these to work on their recovery. You have all these ways that you can use lasers. And so you don't want to just turn your lasers into a gamble. So the way you do this laser here is kind of just like the same way you did the running shine, which was kind of like I will pick a read and I will hope that it hits, and then when it doesn't, then I'm upset. And there's no reason to do that. The goal of the
Yeah.
game is for the other guy to commit first. You always want your opponent to commit before you. So the thing is people get a little confused on that. But like, let's say, you're fighting in center, and then you convince your opponent to run away from you to the corner. Like they think that you're gonna dare in, so they run away. So you're like, aha, like, or they think, okay, I'm gonna dash dance grab the aerial, and then you don't do it. They have actually committed first. Like even though technically like they don't have a move out and you're not gonna get a hit, they have committed first to like putting themselves in the corner. They got stuck in the corner, and then you just like locked them in basically. And
Yeah.
then you can move from there, and then eventually you can get a real commitment, like you full hopped in this bad spot or full hop double jumped or something, and now I have you in a much bigger, scarier commitment. But you don't really want to be the one to do like this big risky commitment, because if he up smashes or nairs or full hops over or anything here, you're just gonna die, and you don't have any way to like stack the odds in your favor. Like when you gamble, it'll work sometimes, but you'll never have like the consistency of beating people that you want in this game. So
Yeah.
it's like you should definitely be looking to gather more info here. So you shoot this first laser, you haven't even confirmed to see if he's shielding. if maybe you dash danced here or you shot another laser, you would see kind of what he was doing. You'd be able to get a feel for like, does he like to shield the lasers? Does he like to dash? Does he jump out of these lasers? You know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you just kind of want to like keep it going a little longer. Like Mango always talks about how there's kind of like a wall between these two characters, and neither one of them like wants to pass the threshold between them. And so you need to become better at like maintaining the threshold on your side, like the lasers, the dash dance, making it so Fox can't approach you. And once you do that, you'll start feeling a lot more comfortable that like, oh, it's okay, like Fox can't approach me. Most of the time Fox can't approach me because I'm defending myself well. And then the match kind of turns to like, how do I get in on Fox? And Fox is usually really hard to get in on. So then that's kind of like how the matchup ends up, is like it's really hard for Fox to get in on Falco, and it's really hard for Falco to get in on Fox. And so they sort of play this mid-range for quite a while, looking for small openings or opportunities or like commitments. But if you
Yeah.
just sort of go for it, and like I said, these like running shines, like if you were doing the laser stuff and you had like a balanced style and stuff like that, these running shines, I would tell you they were good, because
Yeah.
they're not bad. It's just the fact that like that you do them every time that definitely makes them not as good.
Yeah. I think at some point I kind of lost faith in my ability to properly like respond or like react to things that I'm baiting out in
Mm-hmm.
neutral. And so I kind of just resorted to just gambling because then I
Uh-huh.
don't really have
Yeah.
to react.
That actually makes a ton of sense. Yeah. And so, yeah, like the answer to that is definitely to just sort of grind like the laser in place type game, where you're just kind of holding them down and you're dash dancing and you're just preventing their approaches. Like I think grinding that out and just sort of doing that over and over will be like really useful.
Yeah, because I think I did used to play more like that, and
Mm-hmm.
then at some point I just like started doing it less because I was just not good at actually converting that stuff into like clean openings.
Right, like because that's the thing, is doing the laser in place and like dash dancing. Those things on their own don't earn you openings.
Yeah,
Those things on their own, all they do is they keep you safe, reasonably safe. And so it's kind of like, they're not going to like give you a good grade, but they're going to give you time to study. So like they give you more time to like look at your opponent's habits and then eventually get like that running shine you're going for, but like as a more educated running shine,
yeah,
or to bait him out in a better way. And like, because also going for this up tilt, there's no lasers out. You're not making use of Falco as a character here. You're just wave dashing up tilt. Maybe this will hit him, and it doesn't, and you could get punished for that, and you kind of do. And yeah, you're going for the hard read shine again, and it like I said, it's good, but you just need it. It just needs to be supported by evidence. like
yeah,
like your read is fine, but you need to like show your work.
yeah. I think one thing is like it just feels so good when it works that it just makes me
Oh
like
yeah, no,
go for it way
definitely.
too
I
much.
totally feel you, and it's definitely tempting to go for that, and that's how you end up with Fox players who just run around and up smash, because
Yeah,
they're like, man, when this hits, I'm in a position of advantage for so long. And yeah, so here's like another thing where like you're kind of just like you end up here, right? And this is fine. You have an advantage. You miss your tech chase. You get this pressure. You still have kind of an advantage, but then from this position, you're kind of even now. This is kind of
yeah,
even. So Fox could really rush you. And so you really want to be protecting yourself here more. This dash attack is just another gamble.
yeah,
Oh, wait, you kind of did it for a second here. Like this is the first time this says, so you do like laser, laser, you pin him down, you recognize. See, this laser might have been able to actually get you a true combo, like either like laser F tilt or laser dash attack or something. You probably could
Yeah.
have gotten something here, but that's fine. You don't always need to get the true combo because you catch him with the laser and then you dash dance and you catch him throwing out a move and you almost are able to punish, but you get the continued pressure. Notice nothing bad happened to you here, and you had
Yeah.
opportunities to take his stock. So like it's like, yeah, you didn't really get it, but you also weren't really threatened at all, and you were able to put like a good amount of pressure on him. And then see you were doing it at first like this, and you kind of got this bait, you got the back air, and then you kind of just like you get scared here. Like you could have just kept lasering here and found another opportunity, but you got kind of scared and go for this big double jump commitment, and then he just grabs you.
Yeah.
Because remember, it's like a battle of who commits first, and you were kind of in this position of like forcing him to commit first because you're like, look, I'm not gonna commit, and you kind of catch him, and you're like, look, I'm not gonna commit. You're stuck in the corner still, and this is like you want your goal when you're in this position is to maintain this. You don't need to make it end. You are in a strong position. You know, like rich people are not excited for the revolution, you know?
Yeah.
Like when you're in a good spot, you just want to hang on to that. You don't have any reason to change things up. He's the one who has to work on it. He's the one who has to work his way out of this corner and find a way out. So there's no reason for you to be going for these big commitments because you kind of just win the game for him after, you know, being in a good spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, this downer is okay. Remember that when Fox is like 130-ish or over, jab knocks down, and so jab
Yeah.
becomes like a really good tool in spots like this where you kind of want to do stuff to him, but like even if you hit this dare, he's probably just gonna like hit the ground and then like go to ledge or whatever. It's
Yeah.
not super effective to be doing that there. Okay, you got him there. That was fine. The stuff out of the corner was okay. Okay, let's see. So you kind of dash dancing more. This laser shine is totally fine actually. Because you caught him like wave dashing in, so can't criticize you for that. It works. Okay, you got the good combo. He has no DI, but still a really good combo by you.
Yeah.
Okay, good recovery. Laser. Okay. So this downer, the thing with this downer is if you think about it, like after this laser, there's no way he can even like get hit by this dare. Like he's still in
Yeah.
stun here, you know? So like this dare is kind of like I think you have your simulation in your head of like what Fox can achieve after being lasered does not seem to be, you know, extremely accurate. So this was
Yeah.
good. This was good, but you need to like be able you need to be comfy. You need to be comfy because like you're doing it and you're like, oh yeah, I'm doing the good stuff. You hit him, you dash dance, you're looking for stuff he's doing, you see him dashing a little bit. You're kind of playing the game here. You could be doing more lasers. Like you should do like sometimes just do like laser, 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 laser. Like sometimes just do it. No dash dance, anything, just lasers as fast as you can, and then you dash dance. That can be really helpful sometimes. So the thing is you're getting these lasers, but remember, you want Fox to approach. You want Fox to commit, and Fox hasn't committed yet. And so because Fox hasn't committed yet, there's no reason that you have to commit either. You can continue playing this game, but you once again you kind of give it up first, and then he just kind of gets you.
Yeah.
So it's like there's no reason to force the neutral. I always tell people you want the game to end. Like I thought you were enjoying the game, you know. There's no reason to like just be wishing the game to end. This is a small detail, but like when you grab ledge like this,
Yeah.
and then as soon as you see them up B, you should stall.
Yeah.
Like shine up B stall or whatever. It'll just give you invincibility on this back air because you it made it a lot harder for you to do this back air like this.
Yeah. I'm sure.
Okay, that was good. See, the reason why this is more of an outplay is because you got this laser and you noticed that he overcommitted, so you just got the shine. And then that's like fine. You're like, oh, he overcommitted, and then I got the shine. It wasn't like you trying to, force it with the shine. This was all a scramble, and so this is all totally fine. No problems here. You just lost the mix-up.
Yeah, I guess maybe sometimes I have trouble recognizing when it's a scramble and when I do have time to like start setting up things.
Uh-huh. And that's why you gotta just grind out kind of like the laser in place type stuff and just practice defending yourself out of it. Because yeah, like when
Yeah,
you're in this close, obviously you can't really do any lasers. But then okay, so this is good. You get this laser. You're kind of the thing is there this full hop or this instant double jump thing. I understand why you're doing this. It's not super awful when Fox is spamming full hop aerials because it basically gives you a slightly taller full hop than him.
yeah,
Like you're it's usually the best when Fox is spamming full hop aerials and you just need to like get like a back air or something. But he's at 82. He's not really gonna die from like a down air. Like if he whiffs and you down air him, he's probably not gonna die off of it.
yeah,
So it's not really like and you're at 35%. You're like definitely like risking a lot by going for this. It is a big commitment. You managed to sort of get away with it though, but it's just something to keep in mind. It's like definitely a habit. You'll shoot like one laser and then do
yeah,
instant double jump, and it's kind of like, well, you could just keep lasering and like dash dancing, like
yeah. I'm definitely like always really scared of getting hit by full hop aerials
mm-hmm.
because I find I have a hard time even like
So the way
reacting.
the way to beat full hop aerials, there's like a specific way that Falco can beat Fox's full hop aerials like really consistently. And the answer is to always be moving around because
Yeah,
full hop aerial requires Fox to hard read your positioning on the stage like pretty far in advance. He has to pretty much be like, you're going to be right there and I'm going to full hop onto you. And so as long as you're moving around and changing your positioning, it becomes a lot more difficult and risky for Fox to throw out full hops because if he's wrong, you might be in a good position to whiff punish him.
yeah.
That okay, so let's see how much time do we have left. We have like 20 minutes left, it seems like. So if you have the Marthvods or something you might want to go over, or
Sure. Um, yeah, I'll listen to some of those. Because yeah, I think one problem I had is because whenever I try to like shoot a lot of lasers, I
whenever you try
find
to what?
whenever I try to shoot a lot of lasers and stuff, I feel like I end up just getting clipped by things because I'm not like seeing where they are or what they're doing as well.
Mm-hmm. It's yeah. I mean, I think like if you have like a friend who plays Fox or something, it might help to just like literally like laser in place over and over and tell them like, okay, do your best to hit me with whatever, like pick a move and just be like, hey, do your best to short hop nair me out of my lasers and just stand in place and laser over and over as fast as you can and like see the ranges at which the laser in place stops working.
Yeah. And there's like another thing where you're supposed to like up tilt when they full hop, kind of on reaction. I find
Yeah,
that I
you
like,
get a 50-50 on their fast fall.
yeah, I find I'm like really bad at that. Like I just get hit, and then by the time I get hit, I haven't even realized that they full hopped, and it's like already too late.
Yeah, it's definitely it's not an easy reaction. It's not an easy position to play in general. A lot of times you have to be kind of prepared to do the up tilt, like do like a laser and then buffer a turnaround and just kind of wait and then then react with the up tilt or whatever.
Yeah,
I think that like most of the time the right answer to Fox full hop is to be moving around.
I see.
But okay. So let's see how this game goes. Okay, is this like okay? There we go. Okay. Let me see. Tech skill error. If you make a tech skill error in this matchup, you lose. Um, Something small, but basically never do double laser from edge against Marth. It's just not good. He has too
Yeah.
many ways to kill you out of it. You should pretty much just ledge dash every time, or double jump from edge into like an aerial or something. But usually ledge dash. See, it's so funny because against Marth, you're so mobile. You know, you're like changing your position constantly, moving back and forth across the stage, all that stuff. So it's definitely very interesting to see that comparatively. That you're not. It doesn't seem like you're quite as scared of Marth.
Yeah. I'm like more scared of myself messing up than
Mm-hmm.
like him doing stuff.
And yeah, you got to be careful with these approaching lasers. Kind of the main like the crux of this matchup is like how well you dash dance around Marth's nairs. And I just did a lesson on this matchup yesterday, actually. But basically, like, Marth is going to try to clip you with a nair. This is a hard and fast rule of the matchup. Like, at some point, Marth will definitely try to clip you with the nair. You know, and your goal is to not shield it. Your goal is to dash dance right outside the range of this nair as closely as you can, and then pressure Marth's landing.
Yeah.
But so when you're going for this laser in, there's the only logic behind this is like I really want to get out of the corner. I heard that, approaching laser is good against Marth kind of thing. And it's like approaching laser, the only time you ever want to approaching laser in this matchup is when Marth is far away from you and he's trying to get further away. So like if you were at this distance, like right here, where you shoot this laser from, if you were right here, and instead of jumping here, Marth was like here, and he was trying to dash away, it would be a great spot to approaching laser. Because you're saying, like, I'm taking space while you're moving away, and now you can't come back in to get me because the laser is protecting me. That is pretty much only the only time that you want to approaching laser against Marth ever, because the rest of the time Marth is going to be trying to aerial you right here. He's going to be trying to fair nair. He's going to be like forward B. He's going to be trying to do everything he can to like create like a wall of hitboxes here. And it is your job to space around those. And by doing approaching laser, you basically give up all control of that situation and make it a lot easier for Marth. Yeah,
Yeah.
once again, like a spot like this, you almost never, like I would say, as a general rule, unless it is an emergency or you are at like 130 or something, you don't want to shield Marth's aerials. If I'm at 140, I'm definitely shielding Marth's aerials. But if I'm at 28%, this is a really bad idea. Like you're shielding when he's all the way over here. There is no way that this ever ends good, like well for you. You're gonna hit
Yeah.
he's gonna fair your shield. Also, okay, so most people don't know this, but Marth's fair has the same frame data as Fox Nair. So like if Marth does like a late fair on your shield, he's completely safe. The same way Fox would be safe nairing your shield. Like Marth is chilling.
Yeah.
And so like you don't want to let him fair the back of your shield here. You want to continue dash dancing and then like whiff punish this fair or something with a dash dance. So shielding will not usually help you. You will almost always just be in a horrible spot.
Yeah.
And yeah, you got to be careful with these like kind of like little approaching lasery things. They're not really gonna help you too much. There's a good
So
nair.
I should just do like laser in place there.
Hmm.
Then. Would it just be like a laser in place there instead?
Yeah, laser in place dashback. Like laser dashback is really really good against Marth. Yeah, it just looks like so. It's kind of like if you laser Marth in this matchup, your goal should be to pin him down such that when you try to attack, when you do a dash dance, he needs to fear your aerial. That is kind of the goal of this matchup, because if you go for that, then you are kind of pressuring him to short hop aerial, at which point you can kind of punish it. But if you're not playing for that exact purpose, it's kind of confusing when to like look out for the double laser. It's kind of confusing when to like do things. So like let me show you when next time it comes up. So like the reason he is moving back here is because he was afraid of your aerial after this laser. Once again, the lasers are not great, but we're just going to talk about what happens after these lasers. Is you have like a situation where you have a bunch of pressure on him, and so he's definitely going to move away because he is afraid of your aerials. He's definitely not afraid of this forward tilt. But
Yeah.
so now, okay, so notice how he's doing this nair. Why is he doing this nair? What does this nair beat? This nair beats you dashing in with an aerial at that exact moment. That is why he's doing this. He's thinking you will jump in with an aerial. But now that he's naired, he has committed. Remember, the goal is for them to commit first. He has committed. He can only drift his nair so much. So he has like a range maybe out to like here that his nair can ever cover, no matter how hard he drifts it. So as soon as you see this, you get a free ticket to stand right here. Yeah, the forward tilts are not so good. He's not like a high enough percent that the forward tilt is really relevant.
Yeah.
Yeah, these little approaching lasers, these will kill you. You gotta watch out for these. And also, you're invincible. So, like, when you're invincible, there's no reason to use lasers, really. Unless you, like, have, like, a super hard read on him. Because you want to hit him with your moves, right? But during your invincibility, you had no chance to hit him with any of your strong moves. You just had lasers.
Yeah.
Yeah, once again, you gotta watch out for those shields. You're not a high percent. Unless you're, like, over 120 or something, don't shield basically ever. Like, Marth, there's just not a lot of situations that your shield will, like, work out well for you. Like, you're not gonna get shine out of shields, and shield grab is not gonna happen often, nor is it really useful.
Yeah, I think sometimes I'm just afraid of like when they do that like forward smash or dash attack type thing.
Um, in which situation? Like, what is that?
Uh,
Like, what? Like, wait, you're like you said you're afraid of it, but in like, what is? I lost the context of like what you were saying. The dash attack is like why that's making you change your behavior.
I guess just the idea that they could do it and then I just shield sometimes.
Oh, okay. Well, the thing is like most of the time he's not gonna go for dash attack or like the forward smash if you are like actively threatening him with aerials, because like if you think about it from like the Marth's perspective, they're not gonna like wave dash in forward smash, which is super vulnerable against like a Falco who's spamming moves, right?
Yeah,
And so like because if they think you're spamming moves, their goal as a Marth will never be a wave dash and forward smash. It'll always be to try to dash dance grab or to catch you out of an aerial with their aerial. That is kind of the nature of the matchup, is like as long as Falco can convince Marth that he's kind of crazy and he's going to go for a bunch of attacks, Marth's perspective on this matchup is very defensive. It's all about kind of dealing with the lasers, like mitigating the lasers, and keeping Falco out. And so you don't really have to worry too hard about the dash attack or the forward smash as long as you're like staying active and trying to get in like a good range to him. Like right here, you know? Like you did this well in the sense like you laser him here and then you put out this dare. It's not the best dare in the world, but you like there was no chance here that he would be like wave dash forward smashing in on you. But he goes for it here, which is like a really common thing. Like if you're shield
yeah,
pressuring like Marth or Sheik or something, they always just wave dash out instant attack. And so instead of wave dashing towards them like this, I almost always, if I land something like this, I almost always dash dance away and then I come in. Because they always do this. They always wave dash up tilt or wave dash forward smash or wave dash some move and just assume that you're going to keep attacking where they were and they're some kind of ninja. And it's like, it's just dumb. But like everybody does it, and so you have to like include the counterplay to it in your like general movement if you want to like beat most people.
Yeah.
And once again, like, yeah, here's this shield. So here's like an iron rule to never make a decision out of fear against Marth as Falco. Whenever, like, if you're in this spot and you barely get out and Marth is here, never make a decision ever that's like, oh no, here comes Marth. It'll never help. If you roll here, if you full hop here, if you spot dodge here, none of those, if you shield here, none of those options will ever put you in a good position against Marth. Marth just destroys you for all of them. He will kill you for every single one of those most of the time on most stages. And so if you're in a spot like this, there's a reason why Marth is dash dancing here. So right here, why did he do this dash back? Why did he not just run in and grab? And the reason, so right here, so he's dashing in. You would think he would just dash in and grab. But the reason he's not is he's like, uh-oh, I'm going to get spot dodge shine. I'm going to get dared in place. I'm going to get something. And even this dash back here where he dashes back all this way, this is because he's afraid of you dash in daring out of shield. So you, like, getting away from Marth, moving out of his way, doesn't actually help you. Like, when you're this close. When you're this close, the scariest thing for Marth is not, oh man, Falco's going to use his incredible speed to just get out of my way so fast I can't do anything. That's never occurred to any Marth ever. They're like, okay, Falco can't really go anywhere. He's probably going to throw out an attack. And the reason they're thinking that is because that is what's good with Falco. Like, so when you're dashing away and you're shielding, you remove your entire strength as a character, which is to, like, win that scramble by rushing in with an aerial.
Yeah. So I have a more of a general question of, like,
Yeah.
how do you take the ideas that you have and make it so that your gameplay reflects those ideas, I guess? Like, what is the best way to go about that? Because I feel like a lot of the things I do in a game is, like, very obviously wrong, but it's, like, hard to make the right decisions in the moment.
Right. So what I would say is, like, keep it focused. Like, really focused. Like, one thing at a time focused. And so it's like, think of a situation you want to improve the way you deal with. Like, let's say Marth naring, right? Let's say Marth does like a nair in place, and instead of approaching lasering into the nair in place and getting hit by the nair, what you want to do is you want to dash dance around the nair and then whiff punish with a down air. Like, that is like, let's say, an example goal. So what you would do is you would find a Marth, probably a Marth who is, like, worse than you, if you can, and you just sort of autopilot against them, but you're looking for specifically the nair that you have decided to improve upon. His nair. And you're just looking for it, and all you want to do is create the situation where he does this nair, and then you do your dash dance correctly, and you punish him for it. And if you have, like, a buddy to help you out, you can even have them spam that nair just for fun, like, or not just for fun, just for the training purposes. You have them spam the nair, and then you can move around the nair and practice hitting it. Then you go into a game, find a Marth that, you know, you don't know that's worse than you, practice against them, hit those nairs. Then you're playing against, you know, a Marth around the same level or better than you, and you're playing against them, and you still try to punish those dares, and eventually, or the nairs, and eventually that will become a general part of your gameplay. Like, pretty quickly, to be honest. It'll become a pretty, like, it'll just integrate correctly into your gameplay, and then once you notice that it's integrated, or at least somewhat integrated, you move on to the next thing, and you say, okay, I really don't want to, I really want to make sure that I'm doing this laser, and then you do the same thing again. You find your friend, you do a drill, you play somebody worse than you practice it, and you make it, a habit.
Yeah.
Does
So
that answer your question?
yeah, I think that makes sense. I guess one problem I have is sometimes I'm trying to look for a situation and then like let's say for example when I cross up Mars shield and he does that wave dash out forward smash thing and I want to like do something different there.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the game it's kind of like my muscle memory just does the bad thing and then afterwards I realize like okay, I was supposed to do something different there, but it's like the realization happens like after the interaction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like that's why you need to be in the game thinking about the interaction exclusively.
Okay.
Like because yeah, you're right. That is what happens to everyone. Everyone will play a situation and you do the bad thing you weren't supposed to do, and then you're like, "Oh, I did the bad thing." Right.
Yeah.
And that is why you basically need to go into a game like don't do the bad thing, 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 right? So then when it comes up, you don't do the bad thing. And then like now you've gotten the ball rolling. Once you do the right option only once or twice,
Yeah.
like your brain gets like it's the same way you make bad habits you can make good habits where like
Yeah.
the same way your brain is like, oh yeah, like run and shine without any context, like that gives me a big win. Like the same reason you're doing that, when you get in that same spot and you dash dance around the nair and you down air him, your brain will go, whoa, like that felt great, like I'm sick. And then like it'll be a lot easier to repeat that option because so all you need to basically do is you kind of need to introduce your brain to like how good it is. And then once your brain kind of realizes how good it is, it'll do it there for you, because the whole reason you're
Yeah.
doing that other option is because your brain is convinced that that is like your highest value.
Yeah.
Once you're like, look brain, higher value, then your brain will be like, oh, okay, let's do that every time on reflex instead.
Okay. Yeah. And I think my one of my other problems is like recognizing the situations that happen accurately, I guess.
What do you mean?
Like sometimes I feel like uh it's like hard to follow what's happening in the game
Mm-hmm.
and I end up like responding late to things over and over.
So a lot of that comes from like the stuff I was talking about, where you like identify specific situations to cover. Because like, okay, so like let's say there's that Marth Nair, and you're saying like, okay, I'm really gonna practice dash dancing around it and daring it, and you do it, and you're like, yay, this is great. But then you play a Marth in the game, and they do like a slightly different Nair, like they do a dash in Nair, and you're trying to dash dance around the in place Nair, but it doesn't work. So now you create kind of like an additional caveat where you're like, okay, I have my basis, which is like I will cover this most common Nair. But what if he does this other Nair? How do I deal with that? And you can kind of like build off of simple bases, and then create more nuance to your solves as you go by like Marth doing two different nairs and you being like, what do I do to these nairs, is a lot different from like you solving one of the nairs and then like solving a variation of the nair. So you want like a
Yeah.
basis and variation system rather than just being like there's infinite things happening. It's like
Yeah.
there like a lot of times for me it'll be like, okay, I'm kind of watching for these like 4 or 5 interactions in the match, in like a matchup, that I really care about, and I want to win these interactions in X or Y way. And then if I don't win those interactions, I will watch the VOD later and be like, okay, what was outside of my expectation that caused me to not be able to win this interaction?
I see. Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, we
I
are
guess
pretty much at an hour. If you have any super final questions, you should ask it right now.
sure. I guess the last thing would just be kind of on execution, sort of in general. Like I find that's something I've struggled with for a long time.
Hmm.
It's just like I feel like I mess up things that are very easy just because it's like in a game and like no matter how much I practice it, like once it's in a game, like I kind of just make a lot of mistakes and I'm
Well,
not
a
really
lot
sure
of
how to get
that
more consistent.
is kind of doing the same thing that I was talking about with like the heavy focus on like one thing. But you
Yeah.
can do that with like tech skill too. No matter how much you do something in solo practice, it's never going to happen in the game just because you solo practiced it. It's the same way where it's like I'm going to go in a game and I'm going to practice this specific tech skill against this player worse than me, you know? And then I'm going to get in a game and I'm going to practice that same tech skill against someone a little worse than me. And then the same skill as me. And then under pressure in tournament, you know? And you kind of ladder your way up on like where you can use your tech skill, where you can use your techniques comfortably, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But okay, I think that was an interesting lesson, and I hope it helped you out. And I'll be hopefully uploading it on YouTube pretty soon. I have been a little bit behind on the YouTube uploads lately, but anyway, man, thank you
Yeah.
for getting the lesson, and hope you have a good one.
Yeah, thank you.